Hello everyone. So today we'll be starting the third chapter of General Psychology from the BA course of IGNOU University, BPCG 171. So the name of this unit is Cognitive Processes: Attention, Perception, Learning, Memory, and Thinking. Before you move on, I think it should be better to understand the meaning of cognitive. So let's search it up on the dictionary. As to what does cognitive means. Here it is, cognitive. So cognitive of characterized by involving or relating to cognition. Cognitive in psychology, cognitive is of or relating to cognition. So they're saying that cognitive is something related to cognition. Now definitely we'll need to understand the meaning of cognition. I think it's better to search it directly. And cognition means the mental process of knowing, including aspects such as awareness, perception, reasoning, and judgment, that which comes to be known as through. So, cognition is something which is known to us through these following factors, which includes awareness, perception, reasoning, and judgment. See, one of it is already written here, perception. So perception and thinking includes reasoning, obviously, attention. Here it is awareness, the same. So cognitive processes means those processes which require attention, perception, learning, memory, and thinking. These are cognitive processes. Now moving on, this is a short summary of what's included in the chapter. This is the introduction objectives. We won't waste our time on this. Now let's move directly on to attention. Attention. Now what is attention? I think most of you must be very curious as to know what actually attention is. We use this word in our everyday life. We are so familiar with it that we take it for granted. But do we know how to define attention? What exactly is attention? Attention. Right now, as you are reading these lines, you are exercising attention. It means we are using attention. Exercising means bringing in use. Often studied by cognitive psychologists, attention has been found to play a vital role in every aspect in human behavior, as we already know. So, we already know that attention is very vital in our day to day behavior. Without attention, we cannot do even a single work. Rose has defined it as, so Rose must have been some psychologist or something related to this field, and she or he has defined it as the process of getting an object or thought clearly before the mind. So, whenever we think about something, that thing comes into our mind, we can actually see it, right? So suppose you are thinking about a phone, then that phone would come to your mind. You can actually see it inside your brain, inside your mind, right? So this is what she's saying. So attention is the process of getting that object or thought clearly before your mind. It's not in hazy, it's not in the background, it's clearly in front of your eyes, in front of your mind's eye, brain eye. Whereas, according to William James, attention is focusing of consciousness on a particular object. It implies withdrawal from some things in order to deal effectively with others. It is taking possession of one out of several simultaneous objects or trains of. So, this is what they're saying. That William James here is saying that attention is a focus of several conscious or particular object. So they are saying that you focus your consciousness on a particular object. Consciousness is they haven't defined consciousness right now, but let's just take it as the word implies. Consciousness means your awareness, right? Like you are aware of this particular thing. Like right now we're studying, right? So we're aware of studying. We are aware of these words. You are aware of the words that I'm speaking to you. You're aware of what's written inside this book. So your mom might be cooking food, your dad might be reading the newspaper, your siblings might be playing around, there must be TV on and stuff happening around you, but you are not aware of that at that particular moment. Right now you are aware of these words written, the words that I am saying. You might have been having a little bit of itching in your toes, or you might be sweating somewhere, but you are not aware of those things. What you are aware of right now is these words and the things that written on this book. So you have focused your consciousness on a particular object, that is studying. You have focused your consciousness here. It implies withdrawal from something. So you have withdrawn your attention, your awareness, your focus from all those other things and put it here, put it on this particular thing. Like when you get suppose that you get a cut somewhere and you start bleeding, then sharp pain, you suddenly feel sharp pain there. So you withdraw your attention from all the other factors that might be happening and you focus it on that pain. Now you're aware of that pain, your attention is on that pain. So your consciousness has moved from all the other things that might be happening around you and has come on that wound, on that little cut that has come into contact with the skin, right? So this is what attention is. It is taking possession of one out of several simultaneous objects or trains or thought by the mind in clear and vivid form. So several other things might be happening simultaneously with that pain you're feeling. With that, in that particular period of time, several other things are happening all the time, but you are not aware of them right now. Right now, what matters to you is that wound in your leg, in your hand, wherever it is. Selective attention. Now we have defined attention into various forms. There are broadly 4 forms of attention. They are saying that is selective attention, divided attention, sustained attention, and executive attention. So these are the types of attention basically. We like to define things in science and term them. Selective attention. When bombarded with numerous attention grabbing environmental factors or stimuli, our brain selectively focus on particular stimuli and block out other stimuli consciously. This term of attention is known as selective attention. So selective attention's main point is what? It is done consciously, not subconsciously. We make it happen. And what they're saying is when you are given several attention grabbing environmental factors, your brain focuses on one factor and discards the other factors. Or suppose, let's say that you have 5 or 6 friends and a guy comes to you and he starts saying the name of several of your friends, but you are concerned about one particular friend, or you had one particular friend in mind. So the guy must have said about 6 or 7 names of your friends, but you will focus on that one particular name. You will focus on that particular Rahul or that particular Reshma or whatever your friend that name is, and you will discard all those other names out of your mind, even though all of those names are in attention grabbing factors, right? But you must have been thinking about that particular person before meeting that guy, or you must be concerned about that person in some way or the other. So that's why you will pick up that name instead of all the other names. So this is what selective attention is. That when we have several attention grabbing, when we have several several factors of the same importance to us, of the same attention seeking factor, we pick up one of them and discard all the others, even though all of them have same importance. Now moving on to divided attention. When our attention is divided, as the name suggests, it refers to the ability to maintain attention on 2 or more tasks simultaneously. So this is what many people say, multitasking, right? So you are reading the newspaper while you're having your breakfast, or you're watching TV while eating food. So this is multitasking. You're doing 2 things simultaneously. Your attention is on eating food and your attention is also on the TV, on the news. For example, texting while talking to someone. You do these kind of things many times. I think this is a modern environment, because so you're talking on the phone with someone, you're talking with a friend, and suddenly you receive a text, and it's important to text back, and you keep on talking with the guy and also text back to the other person. This is what comes under divided attention. So attention is divided. Half of it is here, half of it is there. This is divided attention. According to some psychologists, it is the ability to multitask. Simple. Executive attention. This form of attention helps us in blocking out unimportant features of the environment and motivates us to attend only those features that are important of our goal accomplishment. So this is the simplest form of attention that we face every day. Executive attention. So suppose there are several things going on, but you pick out only the important ones. Suppose a street vendor is going through your street and he calls out names of the different kinds of vegetables that he's selling, but you are in need of one particular vegetable, let's say lemon. So he says brinjal, cucumber, ginger, and then he says lemon, and after lemon he says some other vegetables, but you'll focus on lemon. You may even, after 1 or 2 minutes, you may even forget what other kinds of vegetables he has spoken about, but you'll remember lemon because you picked up lemon, right? You were in need of lemon, you needed lemon, so you, that was an attention grabbing factor for you, so you picked up lemon out of all those other veggie names. This comes under executive attention. Now moving on to the last kind of attention, that is sustained attention. This form of attention helps us in maintaining focus or concentration on one task for a prolonged period of time. This sustained attention is very, very rare, and it is found only in a very few percentage of people. But with practice, you too can have this, obviously. So sustained means over a long period of time. Sustained itself means over a long period of time. Let's check what sustained means quickly. Sustain, to keep in existence, maintain, continue, or prolong, to supply with necessities or nourishment, provide for, to support, to bear up under, withstand, to experience or suffer. So sustain basically means to keep it going on. So sustained attention means to keep the attention going on. This form of attention helps us in maintaining focus. It helps us in maintaining focus or concentration on one task for a prolonged period of time. For example, when you're studying, there are different kinds of students. One student reads a line and then his attention wanders off here and there. He starts looking at the things around the classroom. Another student can read on for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 15 minutes, and his attention does not wander off. He continues on reading. His focus is on the reading. So he has sustained attention. While your other friend, he does not have sustained attention. His focus wanders off very easily. Right, so this is what comes under sustained attention, and this is what helps us in doing a task for a long period of time. This is what helps us on focusing, on concentrating on our studies or any other field of work that you are doing. Now perception. Perception is a set of process which helps us in understanding the world around us. So perception is, it's a set of processes, means it's a group of processes, you can say. It's a bundle of processes. Let's understand it through our rough. So whenever they say, what do they say? Like in perception, they have said it is a set of processes, right? So this is one set, this is two set, three set, four set, five set, whatever, and then we combine them. So this is what becomes a set, and this complete set is now what it's known as. It's known as perception. So perception is a set of process, and what does this set of process do? It obviously has a function, right? So this set of process helps us in understanding the world around us. Within a time frame, we encounter numerous stimuli every second. So even when I'm talking, even when I'm moving my pen, you are countering numerous kind of stimuli every second and simultaneously at the same time. So suppose you are feeling the breeze on your hand, you are breathing, your heartbeat is moving, you are looking at the pen, you are looking at this video, right? So several things are happening at the same time every second. Take a look around the room in which you are sitting right now. What can you see? Walls, the color of the fan, the color of the walls, fan, light, and sound of the fan, books kept in the racks, and many more things. Your awareness about all these stimuli is the result of a higher mental process called perception. So you are aware of these things. Like previously we talked about attention, that your attention is on a particular thing. Your attention on this particular video, you are ignoring all the other things that are happening around you. You have ignored what your mom is cooking, what your dad is reading, doing, what your siblings are doing, what other things are in your room, whether you're feeling a little bit itchy or sweaty. You remove your focus about from all of those things, and you put your focus on what? On studying, on one particular thing, and you remove all the other things from your view. But still you are aware, like there's this some kind of invisible force that makes you aware of all the things happening around you. If somebody asks you later, what was your mom doing, what was your father doing, you know immediately what they were doing, even though you're not focusing on them, right? So this is what perception, a set of process that tells us what is happening around us even if we're not focusing on it. Perception is a kind of feeling about what is happening around you. This is what perception is in basic sense, in the most raw sense, in the simplest form. So perception helps us in interpreting our world and thus helps us in making an appropriate decision. And there's a second thing about perception. Perception is your view of looking at things, how you look at things. What is your perception of looking at this thing? So for example, here I have with me, this is a phone, right? This is a very basic Redmi Note 5 Pro phone. So for some person, maybe from a rich household or some better household guy, will think, what kind of phone this is a very basic phone, nobody uses these kinds of stuff anymore. But a very poor person from a very basic household may think, wow, what a great phone, wish I could have it. So this is this perception on these two things. And the other thing that we can say about perception is that one guy will look at this phone and say that these are the kinds of things that shouldn't exist in this world. These are the kind of things that makes us helpless. They are not part of the necessity. And the other person will think, wow, it's good that such a kind of thing was invented, it's really helpful for our nation, it's helpful for the world, this is what development is about. So this is the perception on the same thing. One person thinks from some perspective, the other person thinks from the other perspective. So this is what helps and makes sense of our world, that what our world is about. Something might be happening to you, maybe someone scolded you, someone beat you up, your life is a misery, and then you start thinking about, wow, my life is a misery, I don't want to live anymore, this stuff is really complicated, I wish things were simpler. And the other person may think, yeah, there is misery, there are difficult times, but then there are happy times too, I have friends, I have a little things to enjoy. So this is their perception on life. On the same thing, their perception is different. So this is what helps us make sense of our world. What our world is. Is our world a happy one? Or is our world a sad one? Is this world full of miseries? Is this world full of happiness? Therefore, perception is a process of selecting, organizing, and interpreting the sensory information based on previous experiences, others' experiences, need, or expectations. Right? This is suppose a little baby. Pardon my drawing, this is suppose newborn baby, right? So he doesn't have any perception of this wide world around in front of him. He has no perception of this world right now. But as he grows up to become a big man, a big tall man, his perception of the world around him changes. He can take this world as cylindrical, as square, as rectangular. This is kind of saying things, means he can take this world to be a happy one, right? He can take this world to be a sad one. He can take this world to be full of chances, full of unexpected things. He can take this world to be boring. Wow, there's nothing to expect from this world, everything is already known. So this is their perception on the same kind of thing. This is what the book tells us, that we organize the sensory information. So suppose he had some kind of experience, that he had a sad school life, he met a bully, he met people who were rude, who were cruel to him, and then he gets scared of people, he starts hating people because he has perceived some kind of sensory information. He has been hit in the face, he has been abused, he has been means done bad with. So he takes it in this way, he organizes that information, that from his previous experiences or from other, he might have read about it somewhere, and then he starts organizing that information, that people are mostly like this, people like to bully people like to bully the weaker ones. So he creates a perception, he expects that other people will also be the same kind of bully. If you don't do something about it, people will bully you, because this is the nature of people are going to bully you. So this is what his expectation would be of other people too. This is what he has created from his experience and from the lives of other people's experience that he may have seen or read about somewhere, obviously, which he selectively took. So this is perception. Now there are some stages of perception. This section will explain in detail the stages that are involved in perception and the factors affecting these stages. I think we'll only be able to cover perception in this video, so let's move on with it. Stage 1 is selection. Selection is everywhere. Selection is in attention, selection is in perception too. So the first stage of perception is selection. Since our brain has limited capacity, this is bullshit. Our brain has unlimited capacity, but we tend to believe that it has limited capacity. Therefore, it cannot attend to all stimuli at a time. Or you can say that we haven't exercised our brain to that level, or we haven't reached that level that we can unlock its unlimited capacity. So most people have limited capacity. Therefore it cannot attend to all stimuli at a time. So we can multitask, right? We read about multitasking, so we can do many tasks at the same time, but we cannot do unlimited number of tasks at the same time. Like you cannot cook while bathing also, and then you can text and be on the call too, and then you can also watch the TV and these kinds of things. So you cannot do an unlimited number of tasks at the same time, but you can do some selective tasks that do not go against each other at a time. So this is what selection is about. We consciously or unconsciously select some stimuli and ignore others. So we consciously or unconsciously at both stages of time, we take some tasks and then we ignore the other kind of tasks. The selected stimuli thus become the attended stimulus. So the stimulus that we have selected, stimulus is nothing but an interaction with us, something that ignites our interest or our interaction. That is what stimuli is. That is something that stimulates us, right? So the stimulation or the stimuli that arouses something in us, we take it, we give attention to it, we focus on it, and leave the others. So suppose you are moving on a road, right? Traffic is going on naturally, everything is all right. Uh, you go on this road every day. You go to school every day. This is your school here, and you go here every day. But someday a road accident happens. You're walking through this, and suddenly road accident happens. There are several other cars going on. There is the breeze is going the same way. The birds are chirping the same way. The school is the same at the same distance. But suddenly you choose this stimuli. This has stimulated your attention, and you focus on it, right? And now suddenly all the other things go out of focus. You forget about school, you forget about that there are other cars also moving on, you forget that the birds are the same, that the breeze is still going on. You do not focus about them. Your focus is completely on this particular accident. Why? Because you have selected this stimuli subconsciously, you can say. In this case you can say that you have selected this stimuli unconsciously or subconsciously. But let's say there is a case, someone asks you to write an essay. Someone asks you to write an essay about something. He gives you sort of topics. He gives you a topic on IT, he gives you a topic on philosophy, he gives you a topic on, say, tiger, he gives you a topic on some famous celebrity. So you can consciously select any of these, right? These are all stimuli right now, but you consciously take your time because you know that you have to write a topic on it, and you must know something about that thing if you have to write an essay on it. So let's say you selectively take philosophy. Okay, for me it would be philosophy. For you it can be any subject, maybe a famous celebrity, maybe the tiger, or maybe anything else. So you picks up that particular subject, you picks up that particular topic, and that is what was selective perception. So your selective perception now becomes your selected stimulus, now becomes your attended stimulus, because now you will attend to it. The second stage is organization. In the second stage of the process of perception, stimuli are arranged mentally in a meaningful pattern. This process occurs unconsciously. Gestalt psychologists have proposed many principles for organizing stimuli, such as figure ground relationship, law of proximity, law of closure, etc. So these are the kinds of weird names. Well, anyways, these are the kinds of different ways in which humans can organize their stimuli. These are given by scientists. It explains how humans naturally organize stimuli to make a meaningful pattern and thus interpretation. So obviously there is several kind of stimuli. When looking at our previous example, when two cars hit, when there is an accident, there is a several kind of stimuli going on, right? Let's say you saw the cars get hit. So what are the different kind of stimuli involved? The speed of the cars, they were in the motion, you can say they were in motion. Then the length of the road, and then the other traffic, the other cars that were there, the mental health of the people driving the car. Please do not mind my drawings, I know it's absolutely rubbish, but this is only for the sake of convenience we're doing this. So you take in several factors, right? If there were not any of these factors, then you suddenly become confused. How did the car suddenly crash into each other? Let's say there were none of these factors. So one car is going about here, the other car is 2 kilometers right here, and suddenly 100 meters ahead they suddenly crash into each other, boom. Then you become confused. You cannot organize the stimuli. You cannot organize the stimuli that was the speed of the car, the mental health of the drivers, the distance between them. You cannot organize them into a meaningful pattern. You become confused. You do not know how did they actually crash into each other. How can they possibly crash? right? But if there is several stimuli involved and you can make a meaningful pattern from them. Yeah, that the road wasn't wide enough, the cars were speeding, one of the driver was drunk, so it's natural that they would have collided into each other. It's not a big deal. The accident might have happened due to these different stimuli. So now you can make a sense of it. Now you can say, yeah, it might have happened because it may not be the exact cause, but now you can make sense of it, that yeah, this could be the reason. And third is interpretation. In this last stage, meaning is assigned to the organized stimuli. Interpretation of the stimuli is based on one's experiences, expectations, needs, beliefs, and other factors. So basically, in your past experiences and all that you have learned in it. Thus, this stage is subjective in nature, and the same stimuli can be interpreted differently by different individuals. So, for example, I'll tell you, again, we'll take the car accident. So here the cars collide with each other. Here at this junction, the cars collide with each other. One guy who might have seen many such accidents, or may have read about drunken drivers about some place, he will say that the driver must be drunk. That's why he collided with the other car. The third person may be saying there was a lot of traffic, man. They heated up. Maybe someone was trying to overtake the other car and then they collided. Right? So everyone interprets it differently. Maybe nobody knows the exact reason, right? Nobody knows why they collided at each other at all. Maybe some animal suddenly came out and the car had to take a turn and thus collided with the other car. But people form their own perceptions of it. People form their own cases, and this is what interpretation is about. And interpretation is taken into consideration with all of these factors, with their needs, their beliefs, their expectations, their previous experiences. Someone might have said that the car maybe suddenly stopped working, that's why they collided. Or maybe some other kind of thing happened. Maybe the road had a kind of bump there, so the car lost its balance and collided. So everyone interprets the same information in different ways, in ways that suits to them. This is what the last stage and interpretation is about. Now in the next one we'll cover the law of organization, the Gestalt principles.